What's going on, good people? It's Renita, executive producer of the Better Money Story Project. Wanted to come to you today and share 3 simple ways to rebuild your credit. This is not an exhaustive training or anything. Just wanted to share with you some things that I've learned along the way, and hopefully it's helpful to you or someone you know. So this says 3 simple ways to rebuild your credit when the credit you have is not enough. Okay, so I want to share with you a few things that I've learned if you're rebuilding your credit, because that's exactly what I'm doing. Let me tell you a little bit about my story. I told you I'm executive producer of the Better Money Story Project, and I'm in my 30s, but there's some habits that I had in my 20s, and then also certainly just poor education, and then again poor habits. I was a freshman on a college campus, and I got my first credit card because that campus allowed big banks to be on the campus to bait students with a free t-shirt or free something like that if they would just fill out a credit application. So that's how I got my first credit card with one of the big banks. And of course, I didn't have great habits. I also didn't have great education. And so I got myself into a lot of bad habits and bad situations all throughout my 20s, paying off, running it up again, and that type thing. So that's my story, but I've learned a lot better, and I'm still learning as I'm rehabbing my habits, if you will, rehabbing my habits. How about that? All right. So let's look at it. Credit mix. Credit mix is actually a consumer's mix of credit, which means the type of consumer accounts they have. So everything from student loans to automobile loans to mortgage. So it's all about understanding whether or not you have a lot of installment credit or revolving credit. And this is something that the credit bureaus look at, and it's something that affects 10% of your FICO score. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, certainly stick around, and I'll let you know at the very end how you can learn more about these things on your own so that you can pay attention to it on your own credit report. Okay. The second thing that you want to try to do is to turn your regular bills into credit boosters. Turn your regular bills into credit boosters. What do I mean by that? That means that every month you pay rent or mortgage, right? Every month you put gas in your car, right? Some of you, every month, you're spending too much money on food. So whatever your norm is, try to put that, if you already have an established credit card, try to put that on a credit card in order to just pay it off every single month. Okay. So now let me tell you the kind of person this strategy is not for. This strategy is not for someone who is highly disorganized and someone who has a propensity towards lack of discipline. Okay. That means, let me put it this way, propensity towards spending too much. If you are a spender and you are not keeping up with your spending, this is a terrible idea for you, because that means that you'll put it on a credit card, but then you won't pay attention to it. Then the due date will come, and then you're just creating a cycle, because the fact is that your habits are terrible. And I want to share something with you as I talk about habits. I'm a person that talks a lot about helping people develop new habits. And one of the things that I've learned in listening to mentors and just evaluating my own life is that sometimes you cannot always predict how life is going to change, but every day you are in control of your habits. So again, one of the habits that you already have, because you have to stay somewhere, you have to feed yourself, you have to put gas in your car, you can turn those regular things that you do into credit boosters. Okay. Third thing I want to share is that it is very important to know your credit utilization ratio. What do I mean by that? Your credit utilization ratio is simply the credit that's available to you versus the credit that you use. Okay. So for someone who has $15,000 showing on their credit report that's available to them, but they use $14,000 of it, well, then that person looks like a higher risk to people who lend to lenders. So that person is more likely to have a low credit score and they're more likely to get denied. What lenders like to see, and also when your FICO score is configured, what they like to see is a credit utilization ratio of 30% or less. Okay. So you want to pay attention to what's available to you versus what you use. And sometimes it's a matter of if you're someone who has great habits, but you're just rebuilding your credit now, sometimes if you have a good payment history over the last 6 months, what you want to do is call a company and say, hey, this balance or the credit that you've given me is like $500. Can you increase that even $250 or $500? And that would help reduce the amount of debt you have, or your credit utilization ratio looks a lot better. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So I've shared with you 3 ways that you can rebuild your credit. Okay. And hopefully that is helpful to you. Now, if you're someone who's saying, Renita, all of this is great, all of this is fabulous, but I don't even know where to start. Some of the stuff that you said is absolutely Greek to me. Well, I'm going to tell you that the best way for you to learn better, to do better, is to learn better. And I have an opportunity where you can start to learn this for yourself, so that you don't have to wait on anybody else to teach it to you, so that you can have this for yourself and to change your situation. And you can help not only your family, but your friends, and you can charge for it if you want to. Now, if you want that information, check the information in my comments to see how you can get in touch, because I'm more about helping to empower you so that you can help yourself, not doing it for you. And then you also learn, for folks who have gotten their credit done and gotten back into a situation, again, it's because their habits are horrible and maybe they didn't have the information they needed in order to stay out of horrible situations. Hey, listen, this is Renita, executive producer of the Better Money Story Project, and hopefully that was helpful to you. All right. If you'll share this video with someone, I really would appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you again. Take care.